Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Good afternoon, everybody. Friends, I am glad to be here today with you to share the Dhamma with you again. Today, I want to share with you some thoughts about Jhana first, and then I want to tell you how to switch Jhana to Vipassana. Therefore, today, for this Dhamma talk, our topic is how to switch Jhana to Vipassana. Let's first understand a little bit more about Jhana. Jhana, the term derived from ja, to burn. To burn. There is this meaning burning or meditation. Let's understand when we practice, what do we burn? When practice meditation, when we practice jhana, what do we burn? We burn defilements. We burn hindrances. That is how we come to concentration. So there are some examples. We come across the terms in different discourses in both this meaning. Let's take one discourse which is called Fruits of Contemplative Life, Samanya Phala Sutta from Digha Nikaya. According to this sutta, the king Ajatasattu was the close friend of Devadatta. As Devadatta told him to kill his father and become the king, Devadatta said that he himself would kill Buddha and become the leader of the Sangha. So this innocent man, this king Ajatasattu, he killed his father. It's a grave offense. So he killed his father, and after that, one day, when it was a full moon day, full moon night, of course, he was in his balcony, the palace of his balcony. While he was there, his mind was not peaceful. As he killed his father, he was not peaceful. This quiet, calm night, the moonlit night, he needs peace, but no peace at all. So he wanted to suggest to see a recluse or Brahmin who can teach something about peace and a way to real happiness. So he asked the ministers. Then one minister said, "Sir, there is this recluse Purna Kashyapa. He is always crowded with people. He has a group of disciples. Let's go see him." Then the king kept silent. And another minister said, "Let's go to Makkali Gosala." Then the king was not satisfied. He kept silent. Then Sanjaya Bellatiputta, another minister said, "Sanjaya Bellatiputta." Then Pakuda Kachayana, Ajita Kesakambali, then Niganta Nataputta, the 6 teachers, the famous teachers, all of them were very well-known teachers during the time of the Buddha. So they suggested these 6 different teachers. But the king was not satisfied. He was not happy with such teachers because he had bad experience with these 6 teachers. At a time when he went to meet them, he asked questions, but they said something opposite. So therefore, he was not satisfied with these teachers. By that time, the king's doctor and the Buddha's doctor, Jivaka, he was there, being silent. So the king asked, "Why are you silent? Do you think of any recluse, any Brahmins, so that we can go to meet now?" Then he said, "Why not? The Buddha is in my mango grove together with 1,250 monks. Now let's go to the Buddha, and he will definitely teach us something new, teach us how to gain peace, how to develop peace, and finally how to attain peaceful state of liberation." So then they decided to go to the Buddha. Now they went to meet the Buddha. When they went to the grove, the mango grove, only the king and the doctor Jivaka, only they both went in to meet the Buddha. Now in dark they are reaching the Buddhas, where the Buddha and the monks were practicing. So when they reach in the place, nobody, is dark. The king was so afraid that he thought that now this Jivaka is going to betray me. He is going to hand over me to the enemies. Now he said, "What are you going to do, Jivaka? If there are 1,250 monks, no sound of a sneezing, no sound of a coughing. So where are the 1,250 monks? Where are the Buddha? Now you are going to betray me." Like that he said. Then he said, Jivaka said, "No, don't worry. Don't be afraid. You see the light are burning in the pavilion. Deepa Jayanti," where he used the term. Deepa Jayanti means light is burning. Lights are burning. Light Jhanati, that is Jaya, Jhana, Jayati. Where we come across this term. And again, in the Aganya Sutta, Genesis, Buddhist Genesis, the discourse named Buddhist Genesis, Aganya Sutta, where we come across this term referring to those who were practicing meditation in the woods. At a time, according to the human history, there was a time that the people, they been afraid and been quite aloof. They wanted to be aloof from such sacrifices performed by Brahmins, killing thousands of animals. Some intelligent people thought that this is wrong, and they simply deviated and they went to the woods and started to practice. During that time, they were called Jayakas. Jayakas means meditators. They've been in the woods, they practiced. Then the people call them Jayakas. And at a time, after some time, they give up practicing, give up meditation, and they then started to read and write books. Then the people started to call them Ajjayaka. They don't meditate. Ajjayakas. So such things we come across. Another occasion, another instant. From Majjhima Nikaya, Mara Tajjaniya Sutta, Mara's threat, Mara Tajjaniya Sutta from Majjhima Nikaya, the middle and say, where one day Venerable Mahamoggallana was practicing walking meditation outside of his kuti. Then he felt that his stomach is very heavy. Then he contemplated, he couldn't understand. Then he went in and he sat on a chair, and then he contemplated and he observed his belly, his stomach, what's wrong. Then he found Mara in his body, his belly, Mara. He has entered the stomach and now he has entered the colon. Then he said, Mara, come out. Don't harass the noble ones. Then the Mara came out and he stood against the doorpost, and he thought, this recluse, though he says this, he does not know me, he can't understand where I am now. Even he can't think of me. The Mara thought that. Then Venerable Maha Moggallana said, Mara, I can see you and I can understand what you are thinking. Mara, don't harass monks, don't harass these noble ones. Being harassed, you will be born in woeful state, purgatory state. And he further said, once in the time of the Buddha Kakusanda Buddha, Venerable Moggallana said, once in the time of the Buddha Kakusanda, I was a Mara, named Dusi. By that time, name was Dusi Mara. I had a sister. You were the son of that sister. That means you were my nephew by that time. So, by that time, the Buddha Kakusanda had two chief disciples. One, Venerable Vidura. The other, Venerable Sanjiva. Vidura was the very sharp-witted and very clearly taught Dhamma. Therefore, he was called Vidura. Sanjiva means living happily, peacefully, without any harm. Sanjiva. That Venerable, wherever he went, easily, congenially, he easily, peacefully come to the state of state of complete cessation of feeling and perception. Sanya Vedeta Nirodha. That is an attainment. So wherever he sits, he can attain this state of mind, which is called neither perception, it is called complete cessation of feeling and perception. One day, while he was sitting under a tree beside the road, he entered this attainment, Nirodha Samapatti. Once you attain Nirodha Samapatti, you just like a dead person, dead body. No feeling, no perception. You are just like dead. When the people pass there, some ploughmen and some cowherds and some other people, they saw him. Seeing, they thought that this Bhante sitting, he is died now. This Bhante. So they collected some leaves and twigs and some dead branches and leaned towards his body, and they put fire on it to burn this dead monk. And then they went back. Throughout the night, they were not there. Then the following day morning, Venerable Sankhicha rose up. He rose from the attainment, and nothing happened to his robe even. He was nicely the same. He then went from house to house begging. He was an Arahant. So he went from house to house begging. When he went from house to house begging, people been amazing. Oh, this is the Bhante who died and we cremated him. Now he is here. So being such amazing, they understood the virtuousness of the monks. Then they started to respect the monks more and more. And then what happens? The Mara cannot bear this. Then Mara wanted to take an opportunity to harm these monks. Therefore Mara went to the Brahmins and possessed them and said, now you should go to these monks, these virtuous monks, and you should abuse them, you should revile them, you should scold them and harass them. Saying, these monks, these bald-pated monks, that is how he said, he taught the people, these bald-pated monks, they are the sorry, menial offspring of from the feet of Brahma. They are very low persons. They are black. Meaning. So these monks always say they meditate. The Jainosma. Jaya. There you see the word used. Jainosma. We meditate. They are meditating. They premeditate. They out-meditate. They mismeditate. They meditate like an owl waiting on the branch of a tree, waiting for a mouse. Brooding their shoulders and heads down. That's what they do. Meditate. Jaya. Like that, they started to blame, scold the monk. So with this, what happened? The Dusi Mara, after his death, he was born in purgatory life. So Venerable Moggallana said, do not do such things. Do not harass these noble disciples of the Buddha or the Buddha. So here, friends, we see again, we come across the term jayati, jhana, jayati, ja to burn, or ja to meditate. This is what I want to show you. Meditation or samadhi, when practice samadhi, the Buddha said in the Anguttara 5, said, monks, if one is not capable enough to patiently endure 5 things, one cannot attain samadhi. If you can't endure patiently 5 things, you cannot attain samadhi. What are the 5 things? So they said, if you cannot patiently bear forms, whatever forms you see, forms, as we have eye, we can see forms. So we have to bear these things, endure these things patiently, not agitating, neither lust nor hate, with equanimous mind. That's the meaning. So the first thing is patiently endure forms. Then second, patiently endure. If one cannot endure patiently sounds, then odors, then taste, then tangible object. These 5. If one cannot patiently endure these 5, one cannot enter the concentration, samadhi. That is how the Buddha said. The Buddha very clearly said there are 4 types of samadhi. 4 types of samadhi. Once addressing the monks, Buddha said, bhikkhus, when developed and cultivated, there's one samadhi which, when developed and cultivated, it leads to peaceful abiding. That is one type of samadhi, concentration. It leads to peaceful abiding. What is that samadhi? When you develop and cultivate 4 jhana, that is the way to peaceful abiding. That is the first kind of samadhi. Then secondly, Buddha said, monks, there is a samadhi when developed and cultivated, it leads to knowledge and vision. Knowledge and vision. What is that samadhi? The Buddha said, that is when you develop and cultivate perception of light, aloka sanya, perception of light, you can develop, you can gain knowledge and vision. That is the second one. Then the third one, there is one samadhi, when developed and cultivated, it leads to mindfulness and clear comprehension. What is that samadhi? When developed and cultivated, feeling of thought, vedana, vidita vedana uppajjanti. Knowing feelings as feelings. If you develop and cultivate this, it leads to mindfulness and clear comprehension. Then the fourth one. The Buddha said, monks, there is a samadhi which when developed and cultivated, it leads to complete destruction of all taints, defilements. What is that samadhi? That is, when developed and cultivated, the nature, understanding the arising nature and vanishing nature of these five aggregates, then you can understand, you can completely destroy all defilements, all taints. Those are the four types of samadhi, the Buddha said. In the Samyukta Nikaya, connected discourses of the Buddha said, once the Buddha said, Samadhin bhikkhave bhaveta samahito bhikkhu yatha bhutang pajanati. Samadhin bhikkhave bhaveta. Monks, develop samadhi. Practice, concentrate, develop samadhi. Samadhin bhikkhave bhaveta. Samahito bhikkhu yata bhutang pajanati. The concentrated bhikkhu, concentrated monks, see things as they are. See things as they are. Then the Buddha questioned, what can he see as they are? He can see these five aggregates as they are. He can see this form as form aggregates as form aggregates, the arising nature of form and the perishing nature of form. That is to see as they are. Then arising nature of feelings, perishing nature of feelings. Then arising nature of perception, perishing nature of perception. Then arising nature of volitional formations and perishing nature of volitional formation. Arising nature of consciousness and perishing nature of consciousness. This is what he can see, the Buddha said. So this is how the Buddha emphasized the importance of practicing this jhana, samadhi, samadhin bhikkhave bhaveta. The samadhi, when we practice, develop, we always emphasize right concentration, right samadhi, which is called noble right concentration. The noble right concentration is given in the Chattarisaka Sutta of the Majjhima Nikaya. That is a very important discourse to understand different levels of the Noble Eightfold Path. How the Noble Eightfold Path becomes Tenfold Path is given in that particular discourse, which is Chattarisaka Sutta, Maha Chattarisaka Sutta from the Majjhima Nikaya, where the Buddha said how this noble right concentration is developed. It is to be developed with the support and requisites of the path. What are the support? The first 7 factors of the path. You know the 8th factor of the Noble Eight Path. 8th factor is the right concentration. That concentration becomes noble right concentration with the support of the first 7 factors of the path. That means, when you come to your concentration, samadhi, you should be able to understand that it is rightly gained. You have clear understanding. That is your right understanding. You have right understanding in your samadhi. You know what is going on. You are not like a vegetable. You know what is going on. Right understanding is there. Then right thoughts are there. What are right thoughts? Samma sankappa. You have the thought to renounce things, not to hoard things, to give up, to share. You have a thought, goodwill thoughts. That's metta. There is metta in your samadhi. Then you have no cruelty at all in your samadhi. Like that, all the first 7 factors are to be completed. When you complete the first 7 factors, the 7th one is called right mindfulness. Right mindfulness means the 4 establishments of mindfulness. Satipatthana, Chattaro Satipatthana. Where the right mindfulness, as you have right mindfulness, then you come to right concentration. When you come to right concentration, your 4 jhanas are completed. That is what is right concentration. Your jhanas are completed, your samadhi is completed with the support of the first 7 factors of the Noble Eightfold Path. Friends, this is the crossroad. This is where we have to understand fetters. Fetters. There are 10 fetters. Here I asked some friends from Singapore to draw this for me. So they have drawn this for us. These are the fetters. These 10. These are the fetters. You know the fetters. First one is personality belief. Sakkaya Ditti. Then Vichikiccha, doubt. Then Silabbata Paramasa, rules, clinging to rules and rituals. Then Kama Raga, sensual desire. Pattiga, ill will. Then clinging to material world, clinging to immaterial world. Then conceit. Then restlessness, and finally ignorance. Those are the 10 fetters. Now, these 10 fetters are to be understood. When we understand these 10 fetters, there's a classic example, particular discourse. Of course, not one. The Buddha taught 3 different discourses to this particular man named a monk named Malunke Putta. It is interesting. While he was young, one day he was practicing, secluded, he was practicing, then the thought pop up that the Buddha has not answered 10 questions, which are called unanswered questions. Buddha has never replied, never answered these 10 questions. What are the 10 questions? Whether the world is eternal, whether the world is not eternal, whether the world is finite, whether the world is infinite. Buddha has not answered this. And whether the body is one and the self is another, or both self and body the same. Buddha has not answered this. Then whether the Arahant, the enlightened one, exists after death, does not exist after death, exists or does not exist after death, neither exist nor non-exist after death. Those are the 10 questions which are called unanswered 10 questions. Some people came to the Buddha and asked these questions, but Buddha kept silent. So this monk thought of this and thought that I should get the answers for these questions. I should go to see the Buddha now, and I ask these questions. If the Buddha answered me, then I will remain and practice meditation. I stay in this sasana, the dispensation. Otherwise, if he does not answer me, I disrobe and go home. Thinking this, he went to meet the Buddha. When he went to see the Buddha, he asked these questions. He asked, Bhante, the Blessed One has not answered these 10 questions. If the world is eternal, if the Blessed One knows this, tell me directly, straightforwardly, tell me. If the Blessed One does not know, then say does not know. So, he said, whether the world is, he wants to know whether the world is eternal or not. Whether the world is finite or infinite. Whether the body and self one or body and self two different things. Or the Arahant, whether the Arahant exists after death, does not exist after death, exists and does not exist after death, and neither exists nor non-exist after death. He wants to know this, and he asked all these questions. And the Buddha said, Malunke Buddha, did I ever told you to come and get robe, become a monk? If so, I would explain, I would answer these 10 questions. Did I ever say that? He said, no. Then did you tell me that you would come and get the robe, become monk, if the Buddha, if the Blessed One would answer these 10 questions? Did you ever say that? He said, no. Then Buddha said, Malunka Buddha, to whom you are talk? What are you talking this? This is like, if anybody ask these questions again and again, no answer is not given. He would die. Just like the person who was shot with an arrow, poisonous arrow. Suppose a man was shot with an arrow, thickly smeared poisons. He was shot with the arrow. Now his friends and relatives come and they want to take the arrow off and treat him. They come with a surgeon. When they try to get the arrow off, he says, no, don't take this arrow off. I want to know, before taking this, I want to know the person who shot me. Whether he was a Kshatriya, whether he was a Brahmin, whether he was a merchant, or whether he is a Shudra. I want to know this. I want to know what type of bow and arrow they used. What type of arrow is this? Made of what? What kind of things? Made of what? And what are the feathers they have used? I want to know this bow. What type of string they have used? The skin. I want to know this. Until I know this, I do not let anybody to take the arrow off. And I want to know from which side he shot me. I want to know the person, whether he is a short man, whether he is a tall man, like that. He wants to know all these things. Buddha said, what happened then? He would die. He would die. So like that, Buddha said, you are also questions like that. The Buddha very clearly said, Malunka Buddha, the Buddha, the Blessed One, has declared something. Then the Buddha has not declared something. What the Buddha has not declared, undeclared, are to be understood as undeclared things. What the Buddha has declared to be understood as declared things. So then we explain what the Buddha has undeclared. Buddha said these 10 questions. These 10 questions are unanswered, undeclared by the Buddha. Then the Buddha pointed out why. These are unbeneficial. These are not pertaining to the fundamentals of the teaching. These are not leading to disenchantment. These are not leading to dispassion. These are not leading to cessation. These are not leading to peace. These are not leading to true knowledge. These are not leading to enlightenment. These are not leading to Nibbana. That is why I have not declared these 10 questions. These are quite unanswered questions because not relevant in short. These are irrelevant. What is irrelevant should not be followed by us. That is the lesson given to us. Then the Buddha pointed out what the Buddha has declared. Buddha said, I have declared unsatisfactoriness as unsatisfactoriness. I have declared the cause of unsatisfactoriness as the cause of unsatisfactoriness. Then I have declared the cessation of unsatisfactoriness as the cessation of unsatisfactoriness. And I have declared the path leading to the cessation of unsatisfactoriness as the path leading to the cessation of unsatisfactoriness. These are very relevant. These are very relevant. These are beneficial. These are quite pertaining to the fundamental teachings. These are leading to disenchantment, dispassion, cessation, peace, true knowledge, enlightenment and Nibbana. This is why I declared this, the Buddha said. So he became very happy, being delighted, he being satisfied, he went away. And another day, in a group of monks, while the monks were in the meditation hall, Buddha asked monks, Buddha said, monks, can you remember, do you know that I have taught about 5 lower fetters. 5 lower fetters are, of the 10, these first 5 are called lower fetters. Then the next 5 are called higher fetters. So Buddha said, I have taught these 5 lower fetters. Can you remember this? Do you know this? Then this monk, again, Mahalanka Buddha said, yes, I know. And he said, I know. I can remember. Then the Buddha asked, how do you know? He simply mentioned the name. He said, the Buddha, the Blessed One, has taught us personality belief as a fetter, then doubt as a fetter, rules and rituals as a fetter, and sensual desire as a fetter, and ill will as a fetter. Then the Buddha said, isn't it not because of this that the non-Buddhist, other wanderers from other sects, they refuse this Dhamma. Even they use the simile of the infant, prawn infant, and they refute this Dhamma using such things. They say, even the infant, prawn, lion, how can he understand these fetters? He should have no such fetters. Because every being in samsara is bound with these 10 fetters. That is how we are taught. But the other recluses, other wanderers from other sects, they criticize this Dhamma. Buddha said they used this simile of the infant. They said the infant, prawn, lion, he does not know even what personality is. Then how come? Is how that he has personality belief. If he has no personality, if he had no such notion of personality, how he has personality belief? Then referring to the second one, they said, he does not know what the teaching is. Then how that he knows, how that he has, whether he has doubt on the teaching, Vichikiccha. Then the third one, he does not know what rules are. Then how comes this infant, has he rules and rituals? And then the next one, he does not know what karma is, what sensual pleasures, what sensual is, senses, even he does not know what the senses are. Then how can he has this sensual pleasures? Then ill will, referring to ill will, he does not know what beings are. If he does not know the beings, how he has ill will towards beings? That is how other wanderers from other sects said. The Buddha said. Then Venerable Ananda said, Venerable Sir, it is the time now to teach the Dhamma. Please teach the Dhamma. All these monks would listen to the Dhamma. Venerable Ananda invited the Buddha. Where the Buddha said, Ananda, there is a path, there is a way to eradicate, to destroy these fetters. There is a way, there is a path. Without entering the path, if one would say that he knows fetters, he sees fetters, and he destroys fetters, if one says so, Buddha said it is impossible. It is impossible. You have to come to the path. Buddha gave a simile. It is, suppose there is a huge tree, a large tree, which has hard wood. If anyone says that he would cut this hard wood without cutting the outer bark, inner bark, sap wood, he would cut this hard wood. Buddha said it is impossible. But if one says that he should cut this hard wood, first he should cut the out bark, then inner bark, the sap wood, then cut the hard wood. It's like that. The Buddha explained. And Buddha then asked the question, what is the path? What is the way? Buddha asked. And then the Buddha pointed out, the path is practicing Jhana. Practicing Jhana. That is the path. That is the way. Buddha said, in order to practice, you have to have 10 factors to enter the first jhana. 10 factors. This is the first time I read this first 10 factors to complete. What are the 10 factors? First, Buddha said, Uppadi Viveka. You have to be aloof from all sort of acquisition. Uppadi means acquisition here. Whatever your clinging, attachment to things, that is to be cut off. Uppadi Viveka. Detached from all acquisitions. That is the first thing. Secondly, Akusalanam Dhammanam Pahana. Avoid, abandon all akusala, all unwholesome things. Abandon. Second. Then third, Sabbaso Kaya Duttullanam Patipassadi. Calm down, come to the state of tranquility of all bodily nausea, bodily anxiety. That's the third one. Then Buddha said, Vivicceva kamehi. Avoid, abandon all sensual, sexual pleasures. Vivicceva kamehi. Vivicca akusalehi dhammehi. Vivicca akusalehi dhamme. Avoid all akusala, unwholesome deeds. Vivicca akusalehi dhamme. Then sa vitakkang, vitakka, sankappa. To avoid with sankappa, vitakka. Then sa vicharang, vichara. Savitakkang, savichara. Viveka jang, detachment. Viveka jang, piti and sukhang. Viveka jang means born from detachment, but born both rapture and happiness. Those are the 10 factors. With those 10 factors, one enters the first jhana. This is from Maha Malunke Putta Sutta. You can read this sutta later. So, you enter the path, enter the first jhana. When you enter the first jhana, the Buddha said, then being in the jhana, you have to contemplate on the 5 aggregates. What are the 5 aggregates? Form aggregates, feeling aggregate, perception aggregate, volitional formations aggregate, and the consciousness aggregate. You have to observe these 5 aggregates. You have to understand these 5 aggregates. Understand the real nature. Understand as they are, the 5 aggregates. When you apply this, you have to observe the 11 different aspect 11 aspect of these 5 aggregates. 11 aspect. 11 paces. 11 paces. What are the 11? You have to see it as aniccato. Anicca as impermanent. Then dukkhato as suffering. Aniccato, dukkhato. Then rogato as a disease. Rogato. Then gandato as a tumor. Tumor. Gandato. Then sallato as a barb. Sallato. Then aghato as a calamity. Aghato. Then abadato as an affliction. Abadato. Then parato as an alien. You see the aggregates as alien, not yours, as an alien. Parato. Then palokato as something disintegrate. Disintegrate. Parato, palokato. And then sunyato as void. Nothing. It's void. Empty. No permanent entity. Then finally, anattato, selfless. No soul. In such a way, 11 aspect. You have to observe this 11 aspect. Then, Buddha said, you can understand fetters as fetters. The worldlings, they all the time thought about these fetters, and they are imbibed, they are engaged in this, and therefore their underlying tendencies aggravate, their underlying tendencies increase. But the one who has heard the Dhamma, who has skilled in the Dhamma, who has seen noble ones, who has well disciplined in the noble ones Dhamma, such persons, noble ones, they understand these 10 fetters properly, and then they cut off their underlying tendencies, and they cut off these 5 lower fetters, the Buddha said. So when they cut these 5 lower petals, this is the Dhamma way. You see, according to this picture, this is what is samsara. We all are in samsara. All this called samsara. Flood. Sansaric flood. There are 4 types of flood here. Kama, Ogha. Ogha means flood. Stream. Kama, sensual pleasures. Then Bhava, Ogha. Bhava means existence. Stream of existence. Then Ditti, Ogha. View. Flood of view. And then Avidya, Ogha. Avidya means ignorance. Flood of ignorance. All those are called flood. Sansaric flood. 4 types. This flood is formed with these 4 types of ogha or streams. So we have to make our own raft. Buddha taught us Dhamma as a raft. Buddha gave this simile in the Alagaddupama Sutta of the Majjhima Nikaya, Snake Simile Sutta. There the Buddha gave this raft. Buddha said, make your own raft. Nobody else there to give you ride. You have to make your own raft. The raft is made out of four blocks. 4 blocks. What are the 4? 4 noble truths. Whole Dhamma is condensed to 4 noble truths. So these 4 blocks depicts 4 noble truths. We have to pedal the raft by ourselves using our own hands with the strength of our arms. We have to do it by ourselves. We have to cross the flood by our own effort. Buddha sa akkhataro tathagata. Tathagatas are guides. They simply guide us. Even the Buddhas cannot take us to the attainment of enlightenment. We ourselves have to do this. So when we do this, when we practice Jhana, we can come to the first one, then we cut off the first, second and the third. What happens when we cut off these first 3? We enter the path as a stream enterer, which is called stream winner. Stream winner. When you enter the path, you know that you have entered the path. It is your realization. You can understand that from this day I will not be born in animal realms. I will not be born in hungry ghost realm. I will not be born in purgatory lives, perdition. I have already attained this path as a stream enterer. My enlightenment is definite. Definitely I will attain enlightenment. You know that. Nobody else wants to say that. So this is given in the Pancha Bhaya Vera Sutta in the Samyutta Nikaya. 5 fear and animosity. Discourse name 5 fear and animosity. 5 types of fear and animosity discourse. How to become a stream enterer is given. So friends, when you come to this point, if you cut off these 5 fetters, what happens? You can, although you are on the path, still you are not immortal. You are not immortal. You are not free from death. Anytime you will die. We all will die anytime. Being a stream enterer, we die. Being a once returner, you die. Non-returner, you die. So if you die at this point, after cutting off the 5th fetter, you will become a non-returner, from where you can go to this place which is called pure abodes. Pure abodes. There are 5 types of pure abodes in which you can attain enlightenment as upahacha, as reaching the place you can attain enlightenment by cut off all these 10 fetters, or else while they are as antara, interim, you can attain enlightenment, or as without effort you can attain enlightenment, or with effort you can attain enlightenment, and finally, if not, you can go upstream and attain enlightenment as akanittaka. That is how, when you attain enlightenment, you reach the state of Nibbana. So, that is how the Buddha taught us. Those who do not die at this point, as we live here in this very world, we can cut off the next 5 fetters as well. We can cut off the desire to be born in form realms, fine material and immaterial, and then conceit, then restlessness, and finally ignorance. Those who cut off all these 10 fetters are called enlightened ones. Fetters, of the 10 fetters, this place, avidya, ignorance, is connected with taints. Connected with taints. If you cut off taints, taints are called asava. If you cut off all taints, there are 3 types of taint. Kamasava, bhavasava and avidjasava. Taints of sensual pleasures, taint of existence, taints of ignorance. If you cut off these asavas, you will become khinasava. Khinasava is an epithet, a special term for arahant. You will become one of the arahants in the world. Friends, this is how the Buddha taught this Dhamma. Buddha taught this Dhamma to Malunkyaputta, this sutta. And then he did not attain enlightenment mere listening to this Dhamma talk. Another day, when he was old, one day he went to the Buddha and asked Bhante, please give me instructions in short, in brief, so that I can ardently, resolutely practice and attain enlightenment. Then the Buddha said, you now old, you lived long. Now, if you ask Dhamma in brief, what can I say? What can I teach these young monks? You are old person, you ask to give me this in brief. Then he said, Bhante, if you give me in brief this Dhamma, I can practice and attain enlightenment. Therefore, the Buddha said, suppose, Malunkya, you have never seen forms. This is very important. You have never seen forms. You do not see forms now. You have no idea, no intention of seeing forms in future. That means no past, no present, no future. You have no connection at all with the form. If you have no such connection, Buddha asks whether you have any sort of clinging, attachment, desire, love towards that form. Then he said, no. Then Buddha said, if you have no attachment, clinging, desire, love towards that form, Malunkyaputta, you are not there. You are not there. As long as you cling to certain things, you are there. Then if you are not there, you are not here also. Buddha said, if you are not there, you are not here also. If you are not there and here and there both, you are not in the middle as well. This is what Buddha taught. You are not in the middle. You are not in this world, not in next world. That is the cessation. That is the attainment of enlightenment. Buddha instructed in this manner, and he then went to a certain place for seclusion, and he practiced ardently resolutely he practiced, and he attained enlightenment, became one of the enlightened ones in the world. Friends, this is how we have to understand the Dhamma. So whenever you come to a jhana, even the first jhana, whatever the jhanas, 4 jhanas and also 3 attainments. What are 3 attainments? Those are called immaterial. Infinite of space, infinite of consciousness and nothingness. All these, whenever you when you attain this, you can switch to insight. That is what is important. Always try to switch to insight. Try to understand the nature of anicca, dukkha and anatta. Try to understand that it is not mine, not me, not myself. That is the purpose of practicing jhana. That is the real purpose of practicing jhana. So let's all practice properly. Come to jhana, come to samadhi, and then switch to insight, so that we can get the maximum benefit of this wonderful Dhamma taught by our Lord, the Supreme Buddha. May we all attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.